come to the right spot. It's another edition of Lewis at Large. 60 minutes of smart talk radio is in your future with guests from all walks of life and all points of view. And now, with this week's edition of Lewis at Large, here's your host, Warner Lewis.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Yours truly, Warner Lewis, from the flight deck of Lewis at Large Radio, and that means smart talk radio is in your future for sure. In this segment, we're going to be talking to Michael Lohan. He is an actor. He promotes substance abuse awareness. That is a subject that he's very passionate about, which we will discuss today. He is also the father of Lindsay Lohan, of which you know much. Michael, how are you, my friend?
Great. Good morning. Thank you.
Well, we're very happy to have you here. Let's get this out of the way quickly. In a word or two, what's it like to be the father of Lindsay?
It's a new beginning every other day. She's a wonderful girl. She's blessed, and you know what? It's a lot of work. It really is a lot of work. She's been, given a lot in her life, and there's a saying with as much given as much required, and sometimes we fall short of that mark. And I'm just trying to get her back to that point where she appreciated everything and really took life seriously.
Well, like many parents, they would look at their children and say, you've been given extraordinary opportunities and the trees have been cleared for you, and you're not doing much to take advantage of it.
At this point, I tend to agree with you. I still think anyone is worthy of redemption and turning their life around. They just have to really be honest with themselves. They have to look in the mirror and they have to see within themselves, not that superficial, screen that's around them. And that's something that she's really not dealing with. She's not around the right people. They are, they're all patting her on the back and saying you don't have a problem, when I think deep inside she knows she is. Well, we look from the heights we've fallen from. I think that's a point of contrition, and we really need to say, you know what, it's not about what other people think, it's about what the truth is, and that's what she has to deal with right now.
And again, as we said at the top of the show, substance abuse awareness and the whole subject is something that you're very passionate about. Share with our Lewis at Large listeners, why is this subject of particular importance to you?
Well, of course, because, it's happening within my own family, but, have been down that road in the past. I've been clean for over just about 8 years now. February 23rd of 2005 was my epiphany. I've, after going through the things I have, I want to use my experience to help other people, and I've been pretty successful at it. And, it's easier to help other people than really your own, and that's what I've been struggling with. It's like a father. I'm not the kind of father to give candy to a baby. I'm going to put my foot down and be a father, not a friend. And I just wish that my own wife would see it that way, and we could get on the same page, because I think that's what it needs. Well, that's what Lindsay needs, or anyone needs. They need two parents that are standing by each other, whether they have indifference or not. Put it aside, and just be there for your kids. I think kids today, I think that teen rehabs need a lot more attention, because we should nip it in the bud. And that's why, with regard, I spoke to you about Grom Social, and we had a client come to my office here, and the kid, he's a 12-year-old kid now. He designed a website. It's basically the Facebook for kids, and it's growing to unbelievable proportions. But I was intrigued because here's a kid named Zach Marks, who was only 11 years old, and he put up an initiative for no drugs, no bullying, all these different kind of campaigns. And for a kid of that age to actually look at things and try to create awareness and a learning experience for kids to avoid substance abuse, I thought that was amazing. And I really think that, Grom Social is going to make a big difference in a lot of people's lives.
Michael, you are a representative also for the rehabilitation center called Inspiration. I believe that's down in Florida. Share with us a little bit about the work that they do.
Well, they're a teen rehab. They've done a lot of work with teens. And, I do a lot of work with adult rehabs, too. I did 2 interventions last week, and it tends to get busy around the holidays, or right after the holidays. But they focus on kids. They focus on our youth, and that's why I'm very impressed by the people like Zach Marks and his father Darren that have taken it taking this very seriously themselves, and they want to make a difference. And I think that anyone that wants to help other people in this, in this capacity should focus on the kids, because, they are our future. Instead of having a family and a career and having so much collateral damage, if we stop it when they're young, they won't have families, they won't have jobs to sacrifice, they won't have other people in their lives that will get hurt by it. So it's really important to look at kids today and really steer them in the right direction.
Michael, from where you sit, is the society, the media, and just the general social environment in America, is it encouraging more and more youth drinking and substance abuse, or do you think it's pulling back from an edge?
Oh, absolutely, and I think the reason why is because there's so many more drugs out there. When I was a kid, people drank beers and they smoked pot, and maybe there was a little cocaine or heroin around, and they're bad enough. They really are. But now you have pills, and you have bath salts, and you have spice, and you have a new drug called crocodile, which is coming. It's a flesh-eating drug that's coming in from Russia. I think, things have changed tremendously. I think our whole moral structure and the moral fiber has changed. I would never address my father or my elders the way kids do that these days. And I think that, it's all about creating awareness and bringing it back to where it was and establishing roots and create, just helping other people. I really believe that we should pay it forward.
Well, let's, again, you referenced Grom Social, which is GROM social.com. Again, this was created by this extraordinary youngster that you mentioned, Zach. Tell us about that site and what it offers.
What does it offer? The question is, what doesn't it offer? What it offers is basically a safe, secure environment, learning environment, which is very interactive. They've set up something called Groma-Wish, which is like Make-A-Wish Foundation. They've set up a Grom Alert, which is like an Amber Alert. They've set up a schoolhouse where kids from grades 1 through 10 can go to a blackboard, pick their grade, and they can be tutored, and they can grade each other. They've set up, they're setting up right now a talent contest. They're setting up a design school for girls. They have some of the biggest people in all these industries involved. They have a police station, a virtual police station where kids can learn the do's and don'ts and how to avoid getting kidnapped or getting involved with the wrong people. They can ask questions, and they'll be addressed by people, and their identity is protected. All the kids. As a matter of fact, Grom is enlisting a number of very, very law enforcement associations on the site who are endorsing the site. And if anyone messes around with the kids that are members of this site, they're in for a big surprise because they're going to come down really heavy on anyone that tries to intervene. This is virtually the next Facebook, and Zach Marks is going to be the next Mark Zuckerberg. There's no question in my mind.
And again, if you just joined us, yours truly, Warner Lewis, from the flight deck of Lewis at Large Radio, talking to Michael Lohan. He is an actor. He is the father of actress Lindsay Lohan. He also is extremely concerned and a strong promoter of substance abuse awareness. We're talking about gromsocial.com as well as some other issues. Hey, Michael, what kind of job overall, from your perspective, are the public schools doing in promoting substance abuse awareness?
What are they doing? They're not doing a good job at all. I think, we used to have a lot more education in sex ed and things like that when we were kids. And I think that's taken a back seat to where this drug abuse awareness should be created in schools. They really, there's such a problem in all levels of school, and it's starting younger and younger. You're talking about 10, 12-year-old kids that are starting to use drugs now and have sex as a result of the drugs because they're not in their right mind or have the right capacity to make the right decisions. I really think that schools need to address it more. And I think that, online, if so many people are online these days, that it takes the place of schooling. So if you have enough initiatives out there that help people, educate people and create awareness for them, it's going to help, but I still think it should be implemented in school. It's just a shame they've taken out, the Pledge of Allegiance and God out of schools, and they should have it because I think God is a foundation for everything we do. But I think they need to implement some programs to really help kids stay away from the bad things in life.
What about, and again, young people are hit with so many different images. You almost have to, with so many parents working and so many young people with so much time on their hands, this is a really an extraordinary challenge, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I think that, we don't give enough credence to what our kids are doing. We like to turn a blind, or some people like to turn a blind eye to it, and they actually enable their kids and pat them on the back and say, you know what, honey, or son, I understand what you're going through. Let's try to work through this. No, there's no working through it. You have to address it. There's no way to work through anything that has to do with drug or alcohol abuse or any abuse of any kind. It's got to be addressed. And I really think, when you think about it, you asked about schools. If guidance counselors are being so involved when it comes to drug and alcohol abuse in schools, why don't they have a program? Instead of a guidance counselor, why don't they have a teacher where it's mandatory that kids are educated here? Why don't they have urine tests in school? I mean, they should submit, there's got to be some boundaries and guidelines and some mandates that, make kids, put their foot to the fire. And, they have to be accountable.
Well, it is a subject that is certainly larger than life. At times it may almost seem overwhelming and a little bit depressing, but with things like gromsocial.com and others, it does seem to be a little bit of hope. Michael, again, share with our listeners as we wrap up here the website you're talking about and how they can find out more information about substance abuse in general.
Well, they can just go to the website. It's www.gromsocial.com, and then go to they can create an identity for themselves, which is totally protected. Then they go to the bottom left hand of the screen, and they can click on Zach's story, and they can click on the drug abuse, the anti-drug abuse campaign that they set up, and take it from there. I admire these people, and that's why I'm talking about it. I really, when people set out with an initiative like this, especially in this capacity, to touch kids internationally, I mean, I see more and more about this website all over the internet and in the press, and I'm really impressed by what they're doing. So, I thank you for the opportunity to talk about this and about creating awareness for kids.
Well, thank you so much. Again, we've been talking to Michael Lohan, actor, substance abuse activist, father of Lindsay Lohan. Best of luck to you, and thank you for sharing this information with us today.
And I appreciate it, too. God bless you, and have a Happy New Year. And to all the listeners, I really think they should look at this and really take it seriously.
Thank you so much. We'll be back with more right after this on Lewis at Large.